Hey besties, welcome in and listen. I know you've already read the title of this video, but hear me out. September is fall. I know you're like, girl, it's hot outside. Yes, it is. Do not let this sweater fool you. It is hot. I just got AC. Coming to you live from the editing studio because as I'm watching this footage back, I realized that I was full of so much nervous energy and I have no idea. I think I was just excited to get into the TBR jars, but it's a lot. It's excessive and I do apologize. I'm going to try my hardest never to do that ever again. So yeah, sorry. But in my mind, September is fall. And like maybe not until the end of fall, but if Starbucks can put out a pumpkin spice latte in like July, I can call it fall when I'm making my September TBR. So let's just go with that, right? I mean, it's my channel. I can do whatever I want. Pardon the lighting. We're using natural lighting today. I first want to talk about the books that I have to read for September, you know, book clubs, things like that. And then we're going to pull some prompts for the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do to make sure that I'm staying on track with that. Ideally, I can fit the have to read books into the hrcyed prompts, and then I can free pick all the rest of my books for the month. In which case, maybe we'll just jump to, there's another TBR jar that has just standard prompts not related to hrcyed. So I don't know, let's just see how these all work out, and we're gonna pick, I would say 8 to 10 books, because if I can't fit my regular books, my have to read books into the hrcyed prompts, and I have to pick a bunch of hrcyed specific books, I'm not going to be totally satisfied, and I'm going to want to pick something else. So we might go for 10. It's almost the end of August when I'm filming this, and so far I've read 11 books, I think, and I'm probably going to read about 2 more. So picking 10 books and then having the ability throughout the month of September to add more books to that feels about right. Okay, I've got my trusty iPad here. It's got my list of have to reads. You know what? I'm going to show you this, what I'm looking at on the screen. What I did for myself was I set up kind of like a list of like, I want to make sure that I'm reading my 2 book club books. I want to make sure that I'm pulling 4 hrcyed prompts. I want to make sure that I am reading a NetGalley arc every month. I want to make sure that I'm pulling something from Libby, getting a physical book from my library, reading something from Kindle Unlimited, and listening to an Audible book every single month, because I feel like I pay for a lot of services. Some of them are free, and I want to make sure that I'm using all of my resources on a monthly basis and not just buying books. So we're still going to buy books, but I want to make sure that I'm using resources. So my NetGalley arc for September is going to be The Bleeding Woods. So I'm doing a video right now where I have 3 October arcs, and I'm just reading them in that video. So that video will be out at the beginning of October so that you can see all the beautiful books that I read that you can pick up in that month. So stay tuned for that. I took a look at my Libby holds, and Riley Sager's With a Vengeance is the one that's like coming up very, very soon. I should be able to convince Libby to give me that one right away in September. So that one feels good. And then I have a free pick, and I'm not going to tell you what that is. It's for a secret video project that I'm doing. Listen, it's not really a secret, but it sounds better if I say that. So that's what I'm saying. It sounds mysterious. It makes you intrigued. It makes you want to come back and find out what it is, right? Okay. I'm pretty sure that one's going to go up in October as well. Maybe the end of September, but probably October. So let's pick our prompts. I'm going to pick our prompts, and then we're going to bring it down. We're going to sit down a little bit, and we're going to look for the books that will fit the prompts. So this just feels easier. Honestly, I don't even love the format of the video doing it that way, but it's so much easier for editing, and your girl still has a migraine. So we're gonna make it easy on us for editing. I have the horror shelf up here, which is a good place to start, but I may save that for October. Horror Highway, as you can see. I have also switched out the TBR cart, which you can't see. It's down below right here. I switched out all the summer books and put on some fall books. And as my friend Rihanna asked me yesterday, what's a fall book? And I was like, girl, it's one that has fall vibes. You'll see. I mean, we got the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. We have Slewfoot. Like, it's giving fall, it's giving misty, it's giving mystery, it's giving cooler outside, it's giving pumpkins, you know, right. So let's pull some prompts, should we? All right, this is the jar that has all of the hrcyed prompts in it. I'm gonna pick 4 of them, and yeah, and then we'll start looking at the books, and hopefully we can move on to the other TBR jar, this bad boy, because she's got regular TBR prompts in it. So, you know, all right, but let's do the hrcyed prompts. I'm just gonna mix them with my hand just a little bit, because I don't know if shaking the jar actually mixes the prompts at all. But anyway, okay, let's pull number 1. Okay, here's our first one. I'll show you guys. I don't know if you can see that or not. Anyway, oh, BIPOC author. So I have to read 10 books that are authored by Black, Indigenous, people of color by the end of this challenge. The trick is that I'm Black, if you couldn't tell, and I can't actually read from my own background to satisfy this prompt. So I can't read any Black authors, which is a bust because there's so many that are good, but I have an idea for this one. So that's the first prompt for September. Prompt number dos is going to be gay for the queer alphabet. I think I already did this one. So that means we can throw this one out. If this is your first video here, when I made the hrcyed prompt jar, I put in every single prompt from hrcyed, like all the individual ones. And so because you can double books up, as I'm reading books, I'm reading them for a specific prompt, but sometimes I'm doubling them up and hitting other prompts that are already in the jar. I also like free read books as well, and those sometimes count for some of the hrcyed prompts. So when I pull out one that's already been done, like already been satisfied by another book, we just throw it away and we pick again. So I've already done gay characters, so we're gonna pick again. All right, second try for pick number 2. A nonfiction. Ooh. Okay, your girl does not really do nonfiction, but I'm kind of excited to get this one done. I actually have collected some really good options for the nonfiction, I think. So, okay, that's a good one. I like hrcyed because it's making me like be more thoughtful about what I'm reading. So, excellent. All right, number 3. Well, this looks long. Oh, this one is a bonus. It's from the Around the World prompt, and it is in or from Antarctica. Well, wouldn't you know? I already did that one. So when I updated I think it was my my July reads, I think I read Charlotte McConaughey's Wild Dark Shore. I wasn't thinking clearly, but after looking at some conversations on the hrcyed Discord, I realized that one counts for the Antarctica prompt. So I switched it. We'll talk about that in my recap of August reads. So I switched one of those prompts to meet Antarctica instead. So this one is already done as well. All right, let's try for prompt number 3 one more time. I think I switched it from like, I don't even know what I switched it from. A dystopian fantasy. Ooh. Do I have any dystopian fantasies? All right. All right, so number 4. Ready? I'm trying to think through my there must be a dystopian fantasy down there somewhere, right? Who knows what that says? Okay, another Around the World prompt. Okay, so this one is in or from Australia. Oh, all right. I think I know an author from Australia that I want to read from. So with the Around the World, it could be the book takes place in the country, or it could be like the author is from that country. We're gonna see. Okay, let me go and assess my books, and we're gonna see what we can fit into these 4 prompts, and then we're gonna see what else we have time to read. in the month of September for fall. We'll call it false fall. How about that? If you're in North Carolina, you know what false fall is. September is very much a false fall. So, okay, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, I did some research. I'm back. I've got the book. I've kind of got the books, but I think, okay, one thing is I realize if you look at my list, there's basically 15 book things that I need to get done in any given month, and I think I've managed to make it so that I've got some free picks. But let's look at our list. Okay, so I told you that my new release book was gonna come from Kindle. I'm gonna actually pay for it. I have a $5 limit of what I will pay for a Kindle book on because we don't get to keep the books, and so $5 feels like enough. If it's more than $5, I'm not paying Kindle for it, and I mean, that's just my hard stop. But anyway, it's $4.99. So I'm gonna read The First Witch of Boston as my new read. This is by Andrea Catalano, and I like to go into books semi-blind, so I'm just gonna give you a little bit of the synopsis. Of this, but not all of it. It says it's a gripping and intimate novel based on the true story of Margaret Jones, the first woman to be found guilty of witchcraft in 17th century Massachusetts. So y'all know what happened out there with the Puritans and the witch trials and all that stuff. So I'm interested in this. It's based on the true story? I mean, it's not a nonfiction. Okay, yeah, it's a historical fiction. So that's gonna be that one. Then for my Heritage Month pick, which I'll have to start September 15th or later because it's Hispanic Heritage Month, I'm going to do, here it is. You guys can't see this off screen, but I've got my TBR cart like right here. You can, I don't know, you can sort of, kind of, almost see it. Anyway, I've got that right here. So for Heritage Month, I'm going to do The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina. And this is by Zoraida Cordova, who is she's Ecuadorian, is that right? Yeah, Ecuadorian. And so this actually takes place partially in Ecuador as well. So that's going to be my Heritage Month pick. But y'all remember that I picked the BIPOC author prompt for hrcyed, and guess who's BIPOC? She's from Ecuador, so that counts. Person of color. We got a double up, which means we get to pick a freebie. Exciting times. So remember that. That's one freebie that we get to pick. The stars have shifted. The earth has turned. The time is here. I am dying. Come and collect your inheritance. The Montoyas are used to a life without explanations, but when their matriarch, Orquídea Divina, invites them to her funeral, they hope to learn the secrets that she's held on to so tightly their whole lives. Instead, Orquídea is transformed, leaving them with more questions than answers. Sounds wild. Sign me up. The second hrcyed prompt that I got was a nonfiction, and I'm probably not doing these in order, but that's okay. But I got a nonfiction book. So I've got two choices for this that I currently own that I'm interested in reading. So let's take a look at those and let's see which one we want to do. The first one that I have is You Want to Be on Top, which is basically an expose, a memoir of makeovers, manipulation, and not becoming America's Next Top Model. So if you're a person of age, you remember America's Next Top Model and how absolutely freaking cool we thought it was. And then we all grew up and we were like, Tyra Banks was a tyrant. She was terrible. They were awful to those women on that show, and it should have never happened. Okay. But it did give us some really cool memes, so there's that for the show. But anyway, this is a memoir from one of the contestants, so that's an option. My other option is Sipping Dom Perignon Through a Straw. Now this one is also a memoir. Is this a memoir? Okay, yeah, so it's a memoir. So I've got two memoirs here, and let me just read you the full title of this because I think it's actually the funniest part. So Sipping Dom Perignon Through a Straw, Reimagining Success as a Disabled Achiever by Eddie Dolpu. written entirely using my one good finger. So Eddie was born with spinal muscular atrophy. He is a humanitarian. He does a lot of good work, and I really do want to read his story. So these are the two that I need to choose from, and I don't know which to do. The lighting is terrible today. I do apologize for that. However, here are my thoughts. Eddie's book would count for a disability challenge book as well. So I kind of want to save it until I pull that prompt, which is why I'm thinking I should read You Want to Be on Top. Do we agree? I think so. All right, let's do that one then. Okay, so we're going to add that to the list. Okay, so here comes my crowning glory. Like, this is like such an achievement to me. Okay, so I pulled the prompt in or from Australia. So that means it needs to either take place in Australia or the author needs to be from Australia. This took a little bit of work, but I figured out that our girl Lynette Noni is from Australia. And wouldn't you know that she wrote a book that is a dystopian fantasy, and I'm talking about none other than The Prison Healer, which I have not yet read, but it has been on my list for quite some time. And you want to know the kicker? It's on Kindle Unlimited. So if we look at our squares here, this is going to cover 3 of my boxes. It's going to cover hrcyed prompt number 2, or number 3, whichever, hrcyed prompt number 4, and it's going to cover my Kindle Unlimited square. So that means I technically get 2 free picks out of this. So if you're keeping track, that means we get 3 free picks because I'm going to read The Prison Healer. So The Prison Healer says a 17-year-old Kiva Meriden has spent the last 10 years fighting for survival in the notorious death prison, working as a prison healer. When the rebel queen is captured, Kiva is charged with keeping the terminally ill woman alive long enough for her to undergo the trial by ordeal, which is a series of elemental challenges against the torments of air, fire, water, and earth. I don't want to read anymore. I like to go in semi-blind. I'm reading the names for the book club that I'm hosting. I kind of know what this is about because we've loosely been talking about it with the book club members. But basically, the extraordinary novel asks, can a name change the course of a life? Now, from my understanding, this is kind of like a mother is going to the birthing office or the records office or whatever to record a name for her child. And she has some decisions to make. Does she want to name the child this, this, or this? And I guess the way I understand it is the book takes you through what would become of that child's life in each of those 3 instances with each of those names. Now, as a person with a very complicated name and a complicated name history, I am intrigued by this. I will tell you that every time someone hears my name and they're like, oh, that's beautiful, I'm like, thanks, I lost it in a contest. So I don't know exactly the extent of the truth of this. If my dad is watching this, I'm sure he's gonna like try to refute this or whatever. But so this is the lore that I've been told by my family. So Sabrina was the name of a woman who would not date my dad or his cousin. They both were like chasing after her, and she was like, absolutely not, my guys. And so what they decided, him and his cousin decided, was that since they couldn't date Sabrina, whichever of them had a daughter first would name her Sabrina. I'm the younger Sabrina. Apparently my dad's a sore loser. I don't know. That's the story that I've been told by several people in my family, so But that's not the only complicated part. I have 2 middle names and now I have 2 last names. So my name is wild. And I think about that all the time because there's like certain implications and certain things that happen to me throughout my life because of my name. I can't even tell you the story of me trying to get my passport because my names don't match on a lot of government documents. And I'm like, I didn't put that in there. That's just what it says. Anyway, the names, gonna be reading that for Tacos, Tequila, and Tomes. We are meeting on September 27th for our first in-person meeting, and I have already gone completely overboard with it. So I'm excited. I'll get some footage of that too, but it's not meant to be like an online space, so I don't want to put my people in the video unless they want to be in the video. So it's probably just going to be some overview footage. So anyway, there's that. I'm picking up The Mercies from the library for my other book club, and I'll just read you a quick synopsis of that. So it says, after a storm has killed off all the island's men, 2 women in a 1600s Norwegian coastal village struggle to survive against both natural forces and the men who have been sent to rid the community of alleged witchcraft. Oh my god, I didn't know this was about witchcraft, sorta, kinda. That's so perfect for fall. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, yeah, let's, okay, I'm excited about that one. Okay, cool. So there's that one. I have not selected anything to listen to on Audible, but I do have some free picks that I could slot into there. I mean, we'll see. And then my last category, which is technically just a straight up free pick, I have selected something for that. I don't want to tell you what it is. So we're just gonna move right along. Okay. All right, cool. So let me grab the other TBR jar because I've got, how many? I have 3 free picks. So we could pick 3 other prompts for our free picks. Okay, I'm down here on the floor with the beautiful fall TBR cart. It has no fall decor on it, but it's got my fall books on it. Sorry if you see the light flickering. It's a situation that I have to deal with. Anyway, I have brought the regular TBR prompt jar with just quotes that are not related to hrcyed in it because we get 3 free picks for the month, and I'm ready to bust these out. So let's do that. Just gonna mix them. I've not used this jar before, so you don't know what's going on. Okay, all right. Oh, this one stuck to my finger, so I guess that's the one that we're gonna do. Okay. This is a very long one. I don't have any idea what it says. I'm just showing you. You probably can't even see that. But it says, blurbed by an author you love plus an author you've not heard of. So then it says you need to buy/read the, oh God. You need to buy/read the book by the unknown author. So this is a 2-for-1 special. Well, that's a little anticlimactic, but okay. So we need to find a book in this, on this cart that's been blurbed by 2 people. One person I've heard of and one person I've never heard of. Now, what do I want to read here? I kind of want to read, ooh. What do I want to read? Oh my gosh, there's so many options. I want to read them all is the problem. And I'm like, well, what's this one? Exquisite Ruin. Okay, it's blurbed by Hannah Witten. I've heard of her. Okay, it only has 1 blurb on it, so that's not going to work. How about A Tempest of Tea? Rebecca Ross, I've heard of her. Oh, all these ones that only have like 1 blurb on them. That's not going to help me. Oh, wait. I've heard of all these authors that have blurbed it. Sure, that's difficult. Who blurbed One Dark Window for our girl? Because I really do want to read this one. Let's see. Alison Saft. I've never heard of her. She blurbed it. Pulse pounding, dark, whimsical, and aglow with treacherous magic. One Dark Window is everything I love in a fantasy and more. Okay, does it have a blurb by someone who I love? No, that's the only blurb? Really? Come on, you guys. Help me out. I mean, it's also blurbed by Hannah Witten, but I've never read any of her stuff, so I can't say that I love her. Oh, this is a hard prompt. Jeez Louise. I just need a prompt by someone that I know and love. No, you guys are letting me down. You're letting the team down. Guys, this is going to be a forever video. Hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, there's like, I'm running out of books. I mean, Gothicana? No. I've never heard of any of these. I can find one with authors that I've never heard of, but then like when it comes to also finding an author that I love, it's difficult. The library at Hellebore. Okay. We have a whole list here, and Alex E. Harrow is the top of the list. So love, okay. There's a whole list of authors here that I've never heard of before. So I think we can make this happen. Let's see here. Okay, One of the authors on the back's name is Sophia Ajram, and I was able to find a book by her available on Libby for me to borrow right freaking now, you guys. So we're gonna do that. So what we got out of this prompt, again, the prompt was a book that was blurbed by an author you love plus an unheard of author. And then you have to read the book itself, which is going to be The Library at Helibor by Cassandra Kaw. And this one says, this is a, oh, Olivia Blake blurbed it too. So it says, the Helibor Technical Institute for the Gifted is the premier academy for the dangerously powerful, the Antichrist and Death Workers, the World Eaters and Apocalypse Makers. Helibor promises redemption, acceptance, and a normal life after graduation. At least that's what Alessa Lee is told after she's kidnapped and forcibly enrolled. I'm sat, okay? So then, the book that I'm going to pick up by the unknown author is called Coup de Grace by Sophia Ajram, and it says it's a harrowing exploration of the expanding labyrinth of despair and the self. A mind-bending and visceral experimental horror about a young man trapped in an infinite Montreal subway station. Ooh, okay. Interesting. So this is working out well for fall. I love this. Okay, so that gave me 2 books. So we're gonna pick one more prompt out of this jar, right? The regular TBR jar. And the colors, the 2 different colors don't mean anything. They're just the paper that I printed on. But we're picking a green one now. Okay, cool. So one more book. A book that takes place in the opposite season from current. Well. These are all fall-ish books, so no. I mean, I guess I can rock with that. I wanted it to be fall books, but that's okay. Winter is the opposite of summer, at least in my head. That's how that works. So I have 2 options that I'm thinking of. The first one is The Last Hour Between Worlds by Melissa Caruso. This takes place, or at least it starts taking place at a New Year's Eve party, is what I'm taking from the back of this. It says, Star investigator Kimbrel Thorne has a few hours away from her newborn and she just wants to relax and enjoy the year-turning party. But when people start dropping dead, she's got to get to work, especially when she finds that mysterious forces are plunging the whole party down through layers of reality and into nightmare. So that's giving New Year's Eve, right? And so I guess that's winter time. So that's an option for that. I also have North is the Night by Emily Rath, which, I mean, it has polar bears on the cover. It's giving Christmas, if we're being honest. And that's kind of what I wanted to read that. You're mine in life and death, body and soul. In the depths of the Finnish wilderness, more than wolves roam the dark woods when a death goddess attacks their village. Best friends Siri and Aina prove helpless to stop her from dragging Anya into the mythical underworld. All right, so it doesn't say anything about winter, but like, you're seeing this, right? This is a winter book. If I've ever seen a winter book, it's got a freaking Christmas tree. Okay, so I've got these 2 options, and I think I really want to read this in like December time, given what it looks like. So I think I'm going to go with this one. So that's okay. I'm here for it. Okay, so my rapid fire recap. Ready? The First Witch of Boston, The Inheritance of Orchidea Divina, You Want to Be on Top, The Prison Healer, The Names, The Mercies, The Bleeding Woods, With a Vengeance, The Mystery Book, The Library at Helibor, and The Last Hour Between Worlds. Oh wait, I forgot about Coup de Grace. So what does that make? Like 11 books, I think? So since you made it this far, thank you for watching. Make sure you do all the wonderful YouTube things that we love to do on YouTube. Like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. Let me know if you've read any of these books, if you're gonna read any of these so we can talk about them throughout the month. I I was toying with like starting, like opening up the community panel and just posting my reading schedule so we can read along together. I don't know, but it might be a little too soon for that. But I'm so happy that you're here, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.